Hey guys, welcome back to Carsonian Beans. Today we're doing NFL Week 16 Power Rankings. This is part 2 of my Power Rankings, which means it's basically the top 16 teams. Part 1 was team number 32 to team number 17, and part 2 is going to be team number 16 to team number 1, so the top 16. If you're wondering, hey, what did I miss? The link to part 1 should be popping up at the top of your screen sometime during this intro, or you could find it in my channel. You don't have to watch that one. You can just watch this one. You could watch part 1 before this one and come back. You can do whatever. Just know that it's there for you to watch. Also, remember, this is based off of how well they're playing and not how good their record is. So on 16th, we have the Raiders, who dropped down 1. They got a tough loss against the Chargers. And it didn't look too bad to win it, obviously. I mean, Derek Carr got injured. That definitely, hurt him a lot. But Marcus Mariota still played pretty well. They didn't manage to keep it close. So I'm not going to drop him down too far. I mean, when your starting quarterback gets injured, you don't really have too big of a chance. So Marcus Mariota definitely wasn't bad at all. He played pretty well, but again, he really had a couple other passes. I know he threw that one interception that was pretty bad on him, but he had a couple other passes that went like right through the defender's hands. So really, the Raiders, they jumped them by 1. And at 15th, we have Washington, who jumps up by 1, simply because with all of their guys injured, they had their quarterback, running back, and 2 linebackers injured. They managed to keep it close with the Seahawks, and also the Raiders dropping down doesn't, hurt them that much. So the Washington football team, they jump up by 1, but still tough loss. They almost managed to come back. And yeah, if what's happening right now with the Washington fans, to let you know, is Alex Smith. We don't know if he's going to be coming back. I think it's like 50-50 at this point whether or not Alex comes back, and with all the, controversy going on with what Dwayne Haskins did late on Sunday. If you don't know what he did, just look it up. Dwayne Haskins, I don't know. If you look up Dwayne Haskins, it's probably there. So if they do end up benching Dwayne Haskins or cutting him because of what he did, we'll have Taylor Heinicke starting, and I think that's pretty tough. But 14th, we have the Dolphins, who dropped down 1 despite the fact that they won. Again, it's probably just teams moving around them. We're having some weird movements this week, apparently. None in the first video, but this video is already starting off wrong. We have the Dolphins. They dropped down 1. Doesn't really mean anything. They kind of played how I expected. Their offense did underperform. Their offense did underperform a tiny bit, but they did go out there and get a win. Against that, and that Patriots defense, despite the fact that the record is 6-8, that Patriots defense, other than 1 or 2 games, has still looked like one of the better ones in the league. Not one of the best, but one of the better. In 13th, we're going to have the Cardinals, who jump up 1. They got a nice win against the Eagles. They would have jumped up more had, they wouldn't. They're mainly jumping up because the Eagles, Jalen Hurts played really, really well. Their defense went out there and managed to contain him enough to let their offense get the win. I don't know why I said if they were worse. If they were worse, maybe they would be below the Dolphins. I don't know. But the Eagles started looking really well. They're getting hot at the right time, and the Cardinals managed to pick them off. So, yeah. In 12th, we have the Buccaneers, who don't really move at all. Because I'm kind of confused about them. Because in the first half, really the first part of the game, we saw them play terribly. They went out there, they only scored 7 points. They looked really bad defensively, allowing 24 points. But then managed to battle back towards the end of the game. They came back from down 17, and they managed to win. I think it was 31-27. I'm not sure. It was either 30-27 or 31-27. Either way, they managed to battle back. They managed to win, but that first half does worry me. And 11th, just outside the top 10, we have the Ravens, who don't really move at all. Mainly because when you blow out the Jaguars, it's the Jaguars. You're going to blow them out. They've been looking really well. Their defense definitely kind of stepped it up this week. But again, it's the Jaguars. They're having a quarterback battle between Mike Glennon and Gardner Minshew right now. So it's not looking like, if they had gone out there and blown out a better team, maybe I would have moved them up a lot. But right now, the Ravens, they are at 11th. Don't get too mad about that, Ravens fans. In the top 10, we have the Steelers, who dropped down 4. Terrible loss against the Bengals. It's so sad to see them. They slowly moved up my, rankings at the beginning of the year. They were at first for like 5 straight weeks, and now over the past 3 weeks, they've dropped down. Now, for the first time, they are in the yellow. But they deserve it. They've been playing really badly. Their defense, which was supposed to be one of the best ones in the league and looked like one of the best in the league, just allowed Ryan Finley to have 101 quarterback rating and score 27 points. So I'm a bit worried about them. But yeah, they dropped down 4. Still in the top 10, but if they lose again next week and they keep on losing, we could see them in the orange, despite the fact that their record is pretty well. At 9th, we have the Seahawks. They don't really move at all because they did get a win, but it was a close win, and it was against basically the Washington practice squad. Their quarterback, running back, and 2 linebackers were injured. But yeah, they did manage to get a win. They did look pretty good doing it. Not in that second half. They didn't. I think they got shut out in the fourth quarter. They didn't look too good in that whole second half. I think it was like 7-15 in the second half for the Seahawks, with them scoring 7. So they did get a win, but they didn't look too good doing it. Entering the green, the good area, at 8, we have the Colts, who jump up by 2. They got a nice, pretty good win against the Texans. Now they did, their offense didn't go too crazy, but then again, I mean, you're going up against that Texans. Their offense didn't go too crazy, but I don't know. Their offense hasn't been their strong point all season, so I didn't really expect it in this game. Their defense, though, did play pretty well, especially against the run, kind of stuffed the Texans running game. And yeah, moving on to number 7. We have the Rams, who jumped down by 2. You lost to the Jets. I really should have moved them down more, but I just couldn't. They fall from the top 5. They are still, in my opinion, probably going to, win the playoffs. Not win the playoffs, but make the playoffs. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. But the Rams are probably going to make the playoffs. But, I mean, you lost to the Jets. That was terrible. Terrible defensively, letting them score 23 points like that. I wanted to see the Jets go 0-16. I feel like it was inevitable they would go 0-16, and y'all just had to ruin it. I mean, the Jaguars fans are probably really grateful, but whatever. And at 6th, we have the Packers, who dropped down by 2, despite the fact they got a win. Again, this has a lot to do with teams moving around them. That second half kind of worries me, but then again, that first half looked really, really dominant, and they get a win. And a lot of when you're at the extremes, like when you're in the very bottom and really at the top, you're starting to see weird movement, because again, the top 5 are some of the best teams in the league, and when you don't dominate like the Packers didn't against the 4-10 team, you're going to see them drop down just a tiny bit. I would ignore that, though. They are still the 6th best team, in my opinion. Entering the top 5, as we were saying, we have the Browns, who jump up by 3. That was a really good win they got against the Giants. They kind of basically, in my opinion, I think they probably knocked the Giants out of the playoffs with that win. It's not, it's still mathematically possible for them to make it, but it just got a lot harder. The Browns, on the other hand, are my favorites to win the AFC North. They looked really, really good, and in my opinion, I mean, offensively, they've been explosive all year, and their defense is kind of stepping it up. So yeah, they jumped by 3. They're in the top 5. Who would have predicted the Browns at 5th? At 4th, we have the Titans, who dropped down by 1. I don't know how I had them at 3rd, but whatever. They're at 4th now, just because of the fact, again, the top 3 is so good. They played really well. They dominated all over the Lions, but that wasn't, I don't know. Their defense their defense didn't play too well last game, and I don't know. It's just the fact that they've got the Saints above them, who got Drew Brees back and looked really, really good. They bumped up by 4. They kept it close with the Chiefs. Now, it's pretty obvious that Drew Brees wasn't 100%. I'm going to assume that after playing a game and, having, a week to rest up, that he'll be good for next week. But yeah, they jump up by 4, and they are now in the top 3. At 2nd, we have the Bills, who don't really move at all. They went out and got a dominant win against the Broncos. They looked really good on both sides of the ball, one of the most dominant games we've seen all season. But they can't really move up because they've got the Chiefs above them, who did go out there against the Drew Brees-led Saints and get a win. They kept it close, but there was a win. And the Chiefs definitely my Super Bowl favorites. They're 13-1. It's getting kind of crazy. I mean, at the beginning of the season, like, 0-1. That's not, too crazy. But then now, they played 14 games and only lost 1. Pretty crazy. But that will do it for this video. Go back and watch part 1 if you haven't yet. If you're coming from part 1, if you watched part 1 and moved on to part 2, hi there. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe. We post NFL content here every single day. We do power rankings, reactions, recaps, predictions, all kinds of stuff, all about the NFL. By the way, just, for any of you recurring viewers, I am going to be changing my name soon to the NFL Addict next Monday. I will be changing it because I honestly can't stand, just having Carsonian memes and a picture of Luigi. Yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one, or if you're going to go watch part 1, I hope to see you in my last one. Bye.